Heading into 2023, is Uber still a good source of extra income on the side? I found out for you, so stay tuned. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Charlie. I'm your favorite realtor here in Los Angeles. And I'm going to start off the video by listing out some of the pros and some of the cons. And I'll break down all the numbers for you guys. So let's get started. Number one, you get to pick your own hours. So you don't have anybody telling you what to do. Nobody, charging you points for being late, or no one up your ass, kind of telling you what to say, what to do. There's no management.
The feeling that some guys here that don't want to fight. I don't know if that's true or not true or whatever, but I don't know what the fuck everybody thought they were coming here for. Do you want to be a fighter?
There's no management, no. Number two, you get to see the city. You get to see a lot of parts of, for example, in my situation, Los Angeles. You get to see places you get to go to places you've never been to before. And that's always exciting and fun, so it's kind of like an adventure. Number three, you get to meet a lot of cool people that, of course, inhabit the city that you coexist in. Doctors, lawyers, bartenders. Yeah, you meet all types of people. Number four, you get to determine essentially how much money you can make. I mean, there's only so many hours that you can drive, but you can, make a decent income. And number five, it is a service, so you are providing value to people. And it felt good helping out, families with newborns, put their stroller in the back, to kids picking up their younger siblings at school, to people getting to work. So it was nice, knowing that you are providing a service to people that people do need. Because again, not all people own cars in LA, even though it seems like it. Alright, so now we're going to move to the cons. And for reference, I worked November 18th to the 20th. So that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now before I get started on that, I want to first say that I know Uber drivers personally. They've shown me on their own phones that make over $1,000 a week driving Uber. So if you drive smart, you can definitely make good money. Now, as far as my experience, I'm going to share some of the cons with you.
Does anybody here not want to fight?
First and foremost, you're using your own car. You're putting miles on your car, which again depreciates the value of your car when you do go to sell it. I used to work at CarMax. And so there's that. You have to pay for your own gas. You're not a W-2 employee, so there's no health benefits. You do have to file and submit your own taxes. And honestly, Uber doesn't pay you enough. Just being honest. I mean, yeah, there's promotions. So as far as my driving experience, there was no promotions. I simply drove, a regular, let's say, weekend without any promotions, nothing like that. It was just driving, getting the fares, and that's it. No promotions whatsoever. There's no breaks. I mean, you can take a break, absolutely, but sometimes, you just got to pull over and take a piss somewhere. That kind of sucks, because you're like, man, nah, I could just find another, I could just find a Jack in the Box, or I'm sure my next customer will take me to somewhere where I could take a piss. But sometimes you just got to pull it out and, go down the alley. Uber does not pay you enough to make these rides, to sacrifice yourself and your vehicle. You run the risk of accidents. Traffic is a huge one. So, in my experience, I didn't have too much of a bad time with traffic. However, I did almost get into an accident my first weekend, which I was like, damn, I can't believe that. I'm a good driver. I've been driving for over 10 plus years, and, I drive in LA, so I would definitely consider myself a really good driver. And I almost got into an accident due to everything going on. When you're driving Uber, your phone's going off, you're getting notification after notification, you're trying to follow the map, you're trying to follow, the road instructions, you're trying to look out for people, you're trying to make sure that you don't get into an accident. There's just so much buzzing off at the same time. that you can get distracted and it's just overpowering sometimes. That's another thing. Another con is the Uber app, which if I get a chance to show you guys, is very, very overpowering. Even when you're trying to go offline, it's still trying to aggressively get you to take more rides. And it's insane. Like, it's really, really trying to make the most out of you, really squeeze the juice out of you, as I feel. And that's another con. Another huge con that we don't think about is our health. Now, I'm not talking about mental health, I'm talking about physical health. Your back. Now, think about this. Here's a question for you to think about. How much of our bodies do we sacrifice in order to get that money? Think about it. You drive Uber for years, right? Let's say 10 years, and let's say you make in all those 10 years, you make 200,000. That 200,000, how much is it going to cost you 10 years down the line when you have to have back surgery or you're having back problems? It's going to be more than 300,000 to get your back fixed. So think about that. I mean, I felt it in my neck and my back, and I only drove 3 days. I could only imagine some of these hardcore Uber drivers that go 5, 6 days in a row, and man, it's really, really taxing on your back. You can ask any Uber driver, like, hey man, how's your back? You know? So I felt it. I don't think even just for that con, I mean, risking your health, your back, because your back gets so tight and it wants to move around. I mean, we're not built to sit, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day in a certain position. Our bodies are meant to move, so that's a huge one. Your back. You definitely want to take care of your body, and driving Uber, it's tough, man. I'm telling you, it's tough. People don't realize it. People don't realize how tough it is until they actually get on the road.
It's not all fucking signing autographs and banging broads when you get out of here.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead and run through some of the numbers. First and foremost, these are the hours that I worked during those 3 days. Again, that was November 18th to the 20th. And these are the amount of hours that I input. Total time is about 17 hours. These are the hours that I worked. Usually took about an hour lunch here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, the most amount of trips I made was 16, and the least I made was 6. And this pretty much tells all the mileage that I ran through on my car. So this is the total for all the trips. Friday came out to 114.7 miles, let's say 115. Saturday came out to 60.7, 61, and Sunday came out to 47.1. Now I put this additional 15 because sometimes when you get trips canceled, you go to that location, it doesn't tell you how many miles you drove from your previous location to that canceled trip. So I put in about 15, it's a rough estimate, give or take 15 miles that I went to from one location to another that got canceled. All right, so total amount of miles that I drove for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for about 17 hours. I put 222 miles on my car. So total in about 17 hours, 3 days, I put 222 miles on my car. And as you can see here, this is how much I got paid those days. So Friday, 217, Saturday, 166.34, Sunday, 82.69. Total was 466 with 84 cents, and that includes about $51 in tips. So without the tips, it would have been around $410 dollars that I made for the fare. Now, excluding expenses, so that's $85, and that was just one expense. That was gas. So I spent about $85, and total was 381.84. But wait, there's more. So let's go over this really quickly. All right, so on an hourly basis, without expenses, I made about $27.53 per hour. Now, when they say you can make about $35 per hour, that's true to a certain degree. Do take it with a grain of salt. Now, $27.53, that is simply this number divided by this number right over here. You get $27.53. But that doesn't tell the whole story. Now, hourly wage without tips, that's $24.28. So that would be 410, it's not in here, divided by 16.996. Comes out to 24.28. The amount of miles that I was paid per hour was 210. So that's simply the total amount of miles divided by, the total pay divided by total miles came out to this number. And then miles per hour without tips is 185. So that would simply be 410 divided by 225. Divided by 222.5. Now, with one expense, now this is simply gas, you can see how your hourly wage goes down by about $5 right then and there. So with that one expense, so that would be this number, 381.84 divided by 16.97, came out to the hourly wage right over here. Hourly wage without tips, that would be this number minus $50 divided by the total amount of hours. And same thing for miles per hour with one expense. That came down to $1.72. Miles per hour without tips is $1.47 per hour per mile. Okay? So now we get into the interesting portion. So now when you really take expenses into account, check this out. So, all right, and so let's say, for example, you save about 10% of your weekly pay for insurance. So that would be 10% times this number came out to 38.18. Let's say maintenance costs, you save another 10% per weekly pay period for any maintenance or repairs. That's another $38. And depreciation, this was taken at 0.03%, which is the average, times 365 is about anywhere from 8 to 10% per year, which is the average for most vehicles on the road. So we took that and multiplied that times the 381, and that came out to 11 cents. So total expenses would be 76.48. That includes the $85 in gas. So your real net profit per week is $305.36. That comes out to about $18 per hour when you divide this number by the amount of hours. You can get a better paying job, less riskier, at McDonald's for $20. So yeah, I mean, I did the numbers, I did the math, and this is what it came out to. And I could tell you right now, it's definitely a hell no. In terms of side hustles, definitely, I mean, you just saw the math right in front of you. You can make more money working at McDonald's, not have to worry about traffic, not have to worry about getting into an accident, not have to worry about your back. And you actually get some actual benefits if you work there full time as opposed to no benefits with Uber. So definitely a thumbs down, but it was a good experience. And I did get I did get a 5-star rating. So out of the 31 trips that I made, I got 21 reviews, and those 21 reviews rated me at 5 stars. So you know how we do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please rewind it, rewatch it, share it, and I'll see y'all on the next one.